Have you ever noticed that life has a way of dumping cold water on the fire of your love? Isn't that awful? It happens though, right?
Yeah.
You end up...
It's life.
You have this romantic fairy tale idea of what life in love is going to be like. And then you end up with a hard heart and a cold heart toward the person that is supposed to be like your person, right?
I know, right? You should like go back and look at your wedding pictures every year on your anniversary or something. Remember that one year? It was like, I can't remember what year it was. Maybe we're like 15 years in or something like that, maybe 20. And I redid all of our wedding album and I put it in a new album and I took you up to Pittock Mansion to go through it together. That was fun.
Very cool.
Because it brings back such fun memories. You guys should do that. It's not in the notes.
Let's just encourage. Yeah, totally. Freebie right there. All right. Well, hey, welcome to Marriage Monthly. Yeah. This is a monthly podcast that we do. I'm Gabe Kolstad. This is Melissa Kolstad. We've been married for 28 plus, almost 29 years.
Almost 29 July.
And we're still having fun.
Yep.
We've had one argument before.
One?
Yeah.
One argument.
I lie.
We don't really argue though. I mean, it's like we have disagreements.
I mean, yes, we do
but
at times, but...
Yeah, but I mean, once you get around the fact that I was right, we're good. We're back on track.
That's exactly what you're looking for. And then I get hurt and angry.
And then you get a cold heart.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
No, don't do that. Okay, we're going to talk about how not to do that. We're going to talk about actually how to keep it hot. That's what today's episode is called, Keeping It Hot. That's what we want to do.
Oh, boy.
And because,
is this R-rated?
We don't want to... depends on where you take it.
I know. Yeah. Honestly, it does depend on where I take it because I am like...
You're the R factor.
I know. I am the issue.
What I want to say is that the path of least resistance is always going to pull a marriage apart. The path of least, if you just coast in marriage, you can be 100% sure it's going to pull you apart, which is why that's not a strategy for successful marriage at all. I think
everything that ever is good in your life is intentional.
Absolutely.
Your marriage, I tell people at the class we have at church, like New to West Side Lunch is what we call it. You know, people call it membership class. We don't do that here. But I always say you have to be intentional about your growth in the Lord. It's not by nature that you go to church every Sunday. That's very not natural.
No.
Read your Bible every day.
Yeah.
Why are you reading this book every day?
Yeah.
Well, because it's intentional. It makes your life better. So I feel like everything good is intentional and you can't coast it. So I agree.
Yeah. So when it comes to things like this, here's the stuff I mean, like path of least resistance, financial pressure. What's the path of least resistance is to, get stressed out about it and to blame your spouse for why it's happening or whatever, or
not have a plan.
Yeah. Not have a plan. Absolutely.
Right? Like I know so many people that are like, we're struggling financially. I'm like, do you have a budget? No.
Yeah.
Well, there's your first problem. Let me just tell you that.
Yeah, it's a simple it's a simple thing, not always an easy thing, but a simple thing to fix.
Agreed.
Scheduling conflicts, path of least resistance is going to drive us apart there. Past issues, that can be a real separator. Differences of opinion.
I always have the opposite opinion of you.
I know,
so.
totally. Friend groups, even. Think about that. Friend groups in marriage. And, when you're 29 years into it, it's
your friends are kind of the same.
Your friends are the same. Everybody who was different doesn't like you anymore.
But it's harder when you're younger, though.
Yeah,
like when you're younger, if you didn't grow up together, like you have different friend groups and then you get together. Yeah. It is trickier.
It's so tricky.
Because you're like, okay, so are my friends going to like you? Your friends going to like me? I don't know.
How do you handle the whole thing?
Yeah, how do you handle it?
So I think keeping, like if you had a car dashboard and one of the needles or lights was about how hot your marriage is, I think that's really good. I think we should have a temperature gauge on our marriage that goes, keep it hot. And, if it starts to dip down, you got to pause and go, wait a second, this is the most important relationship that I have in my entire life. What's happening? What's causing this? Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about that because if we're not careful, here's what happens. Paula Abdul talked about it in her song, Cold-Hearted Snake.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Paula Abdul's a queen.
Do you remember the words?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Cold-hearted snake.
Yeah. Look into his eyes.
Uh-oh. He's been telling lies. He's a lover boy by trade. He don't play by. Okay, I'm sorry. Just don't do it.
Girl, don't play the fool. No. And then it says, you're the one giving up the love anytime he needs it.
Oh, you wrote the words down?
But you turn your back and then he's off and running with the crowd.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Loser.
You're the one to sacrifice anything to please him. Do you really think that he thinks about you when he's out?
Ooh.
I know, cold-hearted snake, right? But that is literally what happens in marriage. Not that you run and do things behind your spouse's back, but if your heart's not still tender toward them, if your heart's not still warm toward them, if you still don't have the biggest space in your heart for your spouse, you can fix that. You can restore it, and I'm excited to share how today, because there is a way. And so everybody goes through seasons, right? We all go through hard seasons. Yep. We all go through seasons where maybe we just emotionally don't feel strong. Maybe we're physically not strong.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just in a funk. That's fine. But you can restore back to that hot place that you want to be.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? Like a hot marriage isn't sexual. Like right. Not always. I mean, I'm saying that's a part of it.
You're not saying that you don't want to.
No, I didn't say that. But what I'm saying is I know of some couples in the past that had pretty red hot sex, but did not get along and got divorced.
Right.
And couldn't really stand each other, but they enjoyed having sex.
Which is so weird. I don't understand it.
I don't get it either, because I feel like they go together, but apparently you can like disconnect.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, I think that's interesting, but you can. I think if you've probably been burned enough, or you're cold enough, or you're hard-hearted enough, you can probably just divide that up.
Or maybe it's just, you're just putting off the inevitable in terms of the way you feel.
Because like to me, I don't like, so I was thinking, okay, I'm kind of obsessed with those videos on like TikTok or Instagram. Come up on like every year around Valentine's, like the shows are all out there about these old couples that are, how do they stay together so
Melissa
long?
Loves old people.
I love old people.
Yeah.
Like they're just the best. But I love the old people that aren't cranky and grumpy. I like the ones that are like these couples that are just so in love. And they always say like kind of the same thing. Like love each other, look out for each other, look at the best in each other, say I love you, kiss, hold hands, be tender toward each other, listen to each. They're all saying the same thing that we all know.
Yeah.
But they took it the long haul. Like some of these people they're in their hundreds. I mean, this one couple I was listening to, they've been married 82 years. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, I just think it's hilarious.
That's the dream.
And they're saying the same stuff. Like, just keep each other number one, spend time together, make each other a priority. You know, some of them are just so cute. There's like, just hold hands. But there's this one couple in particular. I don't remember the name of the TikTok, but I think the granddaughter takes videos of them all the time and puts them up on TikTok.
Okay.
I can't remember. You have to try to find it if TikTok's still available. I don't know. I heard something was going on. Anyways, but there's just this thing about that, about just these older couples that you say, man, these people, like they thought long haul.
Yeah.
Like they didn't think temporarily. They saw themselves way later. And that's what I think is important. You got to see your relationship way later.
That's a good point, because if you don't look out, it's easy to get discouraged or, to have that short-term mindset. You don't always make the best decisions. But if you do look way, way, way out.
But if you think eventually we can get on track, or eventually this issue is going to go away, eventually we're going to grow out of this, eventually. And you got to see yourself. I've always saw myself as like 100-year-old grandma, great grandma, married, and what I wanted that to look like. I've always thought about that since when we were in our 20s. I've thought about that. But I don't think a lot of people think about that. I think they think temporarily now.
I think you wanted to be a grandma. Like,
I pretty much want to be a grandma. Like when I was like 25, I'm like, why are my kids only 3? Like, what's happening here? No, I didn't even have a 3-year-old at 25. We had Dawson at like, I was 24.
Yeah.
I want to be a grandma. I wish my kids would hurry up. Anyways, but then I started thinking about like my parents. My parents had a killer relationship. Yes. They were married 43 and a half years. My mom died early, 63, when she passed away of meningitis. But my dad was always so patient with my mom. That was the thing that stood out the most to me, because I was not. My mom always ran late. Drove me absolute. Do you remember?
Oh, I remember.
She's been gone for many years now. Yeah. Oh my gosh, my mom was always late, and my dad never honked the horn. Never, hurry up, Karen. Like, never like was sassy with her or rushed her. You know what he would tell me? Oh, she's just real finicky. She doesn't want to leave until her hair is just right. Right?
Yeah.
Or her makeup's just right. Or her outfit's just right. So you just be patient with your mom. And I'd be like, no.
Which is truly amazing. And what's kind of amazing about that to me is that weren't his parents the exact opposite?
Yes, because my grandpa used to honk the horn at my grandma if she wasn't out when they said they were going to be out.
I mean, I've heard the stories. Yeah.
She didn't have it. She was like done. Yeah, they did not have a great relationship. No. I did not want to follow that one, but I didn't want to follow my parents' relationship. Anyway, I thought it was really sweet how patient my dad was with my mom. I thought that was pretty cute, and that that just meant volumes to my mom.
Oh my!
And that was totally red hot for her that her man was so kind and gentle and patient with her, and wasn't just like rushing and sassy and nasty and aggressive. He was never like that. And then after my mom passed, my dad remarried a couple of years later to this amazing lady named Luetta, my bonus mom. And she's spectacular. She is so cool. They're both older. They're both in their 80s now, but they take such good care of each other.
They do.
That's the thing I love about them. And they are always touching and holding hands, which kind of grosses me out sometimes when they have at it and start talking. But it's one of those things that, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like they've been married, 14 years? It'll be 15 this year, I think.
Yeah.
In October. Anyways, but it's like that, it's like they're so always serving and taking care of each other. And I think that's part of what's so sweet about a couple is how they care for each other. I want to take care of you, that kind of thing. You want to take care of me. I think that's sweet. I know that's not a feminist way to live. I should be able to take care of myself, but I think there's something to that. I think someone should want to care for each other. Like you should want to care for each other and take care of each 100%. Other and help each other.
Because it's not just a one-way street on that.
Yeah. Yeah. And like relationship isn't just alone. It's not me or, I only got me. I hear people say that's just me. I got to take care of myself. That's a bummer. Like that's a bummer because I think we should be loving taking care of each other. Moms love to take care of their kids. Like I think it's in our nature. God made us to take care of each other. That's why Adam needed a helpmate. He needed a partner. Like it's how it is. So I just think I love how they take care of each other. I think it's super cute. But anyways, I think these couples that I think about, like my parents and Dan and Lou and these TikToks, like I think that they're in it for long haul. And I think that you got to think like that. You got to think long haul because you can't think the short stuff. It doesn't really last. Yeah.
Makes me think as you were talking about that one of the barriers then maybe to having that hotness between you is the attitude of self-reliance.
Yeah.
Which, kind of, it just sort of projects this don't come any closer mentality.
Yeah.
I got this, I don't need you and I don't really want you in my space. I mean, that self-reliance kind of communicates that. And I think if we ever see our temperature gauge going down, maybe that's one checkpoint to go, am I projecting self-reliance instead of mutual dependence, that God created marriage for?
Yeah. And I agree. And I also think when you're thinking long haul, you're not thinking escape hatch.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you're thinking, we're in it to win it. Like this is going down to the grave.
Yeah.
Like it's not, we're giving up because of an argument or, we're feeling distant or, irreconcilable differences. No, it's like, no, we're in it like to the end. And you got to have a mindset from day one.
Right. And, like maybe your reflex, if you have a short-term mentality is I got to get out of this. And what I think a long-term perspective can give us is we got to get better at this. And I think we can. And we've
again, being intentional, right?
Yeah.
Working at it. Marriage is work. Let me say that again. Marriage is work. It's not super easy to merge lives and to be together all the time. You have to be thinking about each other. Did I check my schedule? Did I tell Gabe I was going to do this? Did I, what I'm saying? Like be considerate of each other and think about these kind of things. You're living a life with somebody else as your partner. So you have to kind of think, like that.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I was reading scripture this week and I came across this passage in an Old Testament book called Jeremiah. So it's like this prophetic judgment, on Israel, the nation of Israel, because of their lifestyles and they what God really would say. I think they broke the covenant that He made with them. They, he was providing for them, takes them into this land, and then they kind of mistreat him and don't prioritize him.
Right. And they make a bunch of idols and they turn to other gods. And
all sorts of sexual sin, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so Jeremiah chapter 3, I'm reading there and I'm just seeing all over it, hard heart, cold heart.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. And God even calls that out. And it made me really think like, how do you stay sensitive? Because I think that might be part of the issue. Because like I said in the beginning, I think life has a way of pouring cold water on your fire of your love for each other. And it can do that in little subtle ways. I mean, like when a little ice cube gets thrown in the fire, and then then somebody spills some cold water. And then by the time, and then it's starting to, the fire's starting to go down.
Yeah.
And I think our hearts have to stay sensitive. And I was reading Proverbs 5, and it says, always be enraptured by her love. It's talking about how a person should feel about their spouse, specifically in that case, about how a man should feel about his wife. This gift that God gives us of a spouse. And it says, always be enraptured by her love. And I was wondering, what does that word mean, enraptured? Because I don't use that a lot.
Obsessed.
What it literally means is it means exhilarated or intoxicated. It can be used to say being misled, because it's such a strong feeling that it's like I'm preoccupied, I'm distracted by, I'm intoxicated by, I'm enraptured by this love. And that, I think, it kind of gets to the heart of what is this sensitivity? What is this hotness? What is this soft heart toward? But how do you do that is the question. And as I was thinking about Jeremiah and what was going on, there was this little clue in there, and it was really all about service. It was really about the way that our hearts stay soft is when we invest in a relationship. And I think one of the things that we miss sometimes is you get in this place where you're kind of tired of the way things are. And so it gets old, and then you actually back off your effort. And that is the beginning of trouble, because then the other person notices that, and then they back off their effort. Yeah. And there begins that divide.
Yeah. And you like get sidetracked with other stuff. You're like, I'm just going to join that, fantasy football team, or I'm just going to start going to the gym more. I'm just, and you just kind of start filling your time with
nothing wrong with those things in themselves.
No, I
right?
love the gym. Yeah. But when you start saying, well, I don't really want to be with my spouse, so instead I'm going to do other stuff so I don't have to be, and I know that happens. It does. I've talked to people that's happening too.
And we've talked about this. There's this book out there called Love and Respect by Emerson Eggerichs. And one of the things he talks about is this crazy cycle. The crazy cycle is exactly that. It's like, you're going to show some distance. Well, then I'm going to show a little distance too. Yeah. You're going to say a word like that. Well, then I'm going to say 2 words like that.
Exactly.
And then it's just like,
right.
And the crazy
the
cycle.
divide starts.
But he says in the book, somebody has to be willing to break the cycle.
Exactly.
And the way you actually break the cycle, I think, there's many ways, but I think the one that I want to key in on is service. Yeah. That you would go, not what do I get out of this relationship, but what can I give right now, even though I might not feel like I want to do that, because I might not feel validated. I might not feel noticed. I might not feel appreciated. It takes a lot of humility, though. It does.
It's whoa. It takes a lot of humility to break that cycle. Yeah. It reminds me of that movie we saw, The Fireproof. I've brought this up before because it's such a powerful illustration where he was like, I know our relationship sucks and it's both their fault, but I think he had like a porn addiction or something like that. And I remember the scene in the movie where he throws his computer out, just rips it out, throws it, breaks it. And I just thought, that's cool, because that moment he was like, I'm fixing this. Yeah. And he started, what'd he do? Serve her. Giving her gifts.
The love dare.
Cleaning up the kitchen, doing all that. And that's the love dare. That's the book you got to get. But the movie was Fireproof. And oh my gosh. And I thought, man, he was like, I'm breaking the cycle. And she was so skeptical. She was like, But then eventually he kept it up for a while. And finally she was like, oh, okay, I guess you are the same man that I fell in love with way back when, but kind of forgot. And we had that divide and we lost track. I love that. Yeah. So good. I need to watch that movie again.
We should do it.
Yeah, totally.
Date night. Okay, so talk to us a little bit about ways to serve.
Oh man, I made a list, babe. Okay, so simple ways to serve your spouse, because in order to have a hot relationship, I think it does stem from serving. That's the bottom line. It's not like, how hot you are in bed. It really, you're not hot in bed, or you're not going to enjoy the time of sex if there's so much drama outside of that bedroom. At least I think for the long haul, that's not how that's going to happen. So I love this simple acts of service. So perform small acts of kindness daily. And I wrote some stuff down. I said, Gabe is really good about leaving me notes. He'll tape them to my mirror in my bathroom in the morning, which cracks me up, because he knows it's my first stop, because the first thing I do is I make my bed, I brush my teeth. That's my system in the morning.
Oh my gosh, I got to tell you something real quick.
What?
So while you were gone,
I just got back from Vegas with my daughter.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
So the house got cleaned.
Yeah.
And
it's so pretty.
And you had left me a note on my bathroom mirror that said "I love you" in lipstick, I think. And I was like, I didn't say don't clean that. and it got taken off.
She
So
took it off?
Yeah, so I need you to go back and put
Okay,
that
so
on
yeah,
there.
so
Anyways.
a few weeks ago on Gabe's mirror, I wrote, "I love you" in red lipstick. And Gabe would not take it off.
I clean the bathrooms normally.
Yeah.
But so this was just a special
So
occasion.
Anna took it.
Yeah.
Yes, and thank you for my Mother's Day gift from Gabe and my kids. They had a lady that is an amazing house cleaner come and clean the house.
Yeah.
And she did a spectacular job. My couches look so nice. Anyways, but small acts like that, right? Like that's just silly.
Yeah.
Like little "I love you" with lipstick. It's just cute. It's just saying, "I'm thinking of you," right? I mean, the little things go a long way. Let me just say
they
that.
do. I love when you do that to me. Yeah.
They do. It's sweet. So listen actively. I am so not good at this, but Gabe is really good at this. Gabe will always ask how my day was. And I love this. At the dinner table, even when the kids were little, we always did this thing, what was hot, what was not. And it was fun because we would be like, "How was your day?" Basically.
Right.
What was really good about your day? What was not good about your day? Which generated great conversations with our kids when they were younger. But it's also good for us to just be like, "How was your day? Like, what was good? What was not good?" Like, and just thinking through that. I think that's important. So
yeah, and maybe some of those things just come down to, well, I don't know what question to ask.
Yeah.
Well, Google some questions that you could ask.
Just
somebody said the other day, there's this list of 250 conversation starters, and it's just questions like that. And I'm going to get it because I like that kind of stuff.
You should do that because you're not super good at small talk.
I know.
I don't need the help. I'm great at small talk.
Yeah.
I can small talk it up to a dog.
I'm going to get that.
But no, but seriously though, I think an important part is just making a moment. Like to listen actively. I think you need to just get together for one thing, look at each other and chat. It'll open up. You just got to do that regularly. But anyways, take the time to look at each other and check in. Number 3, express gratitude. Always compliment your spouse about everything. Be thankful for them. Be thankful for the things they do around the house, how hard they work, that they show up, that they do little things for you, that they got you something. You know, that
You're
kind
really
of stuff.
good at that, babe.
Yeah, thanks. Well, so are you.
Thanks.
But always expressing gratitude. And this goes in the 4th thing is offer affirmation. Okay, so this is Gabe's love language is affirmation. So I have to be really good at this because, you know, he needs it. And I mean, everybody needs to be affirmed.
Yeah.
But some people really, really desire affirmation, and to be aware of that and be okay with that. And a lot of times, girls, let me tell you, guys, number 1 love language is affirmation.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's touch too, but affirmation's a huge one for men. I think a lot of times the society makes a man feel like they're failing all the time. So I think it's important for us to really pour into them and just telling them how great they are, how well they did this. That's a really important stuff. And I feel like, you know, when Gabe teaches on a Sunday morning, we run a church, Westside Community Church out here in Beaverton, Oregon. When he teaches, I'm always like, "That was killer," or "That was great," or "You nailed it." You know, it's just those little things just to affirm and be like, "That was amazing." You know, "You did a good job," or "You look great," or "You did," you know, do that to each other. When your girl comes in and looking good and she got her makeup all done, her hair's all done, say something. Be like, "Dang, you look good." Like say something, because like that is sweet. Just affirm them and how great they are. I think it's really, really important. Yeah. So say it out loud. Don't just assume they know it. Say it to them, write it to them, throw it on social media. Nothing's more fun than hey, my spouse rocks. You know, my husband's amazing. Right. You know, my wife's so awesome. It's like, oh, thank you. Now the whole world knows, which is cool. Number 5, plan quality time together. You know,
this is one of your love languages.
This has got to this is is there 6 love languages? Is planning time for time? You know,
that's what I'm saying. Time is
time. Yeah. I like time, but I'm really intentional about planning activities and stuff. And if you've listened to this podcast more than like 5 times, you know this is a big deal.
Yeah, spending
time together, dating, it's a huge deal. Plan regular date nights. I can't say it enough. Activities you enjoy, quality time. You got to reconnect. It builds positive memories. Gabe and I are huge about this. It's really important to us. So we know how important it is to be together, to make memories, and we are very intentional about it. That's why people are always asking us date night ideas, because they know.
Credit to you, because you are very creative with that stuff.
Yeah, it's like, just think about how to make a special time for your spouse. Like, just think about it. Sit there and think, what does my spouse like? Okay, let's go do that. Oh, my spouse likes baseball. Let's go to a baseball game. It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Like, my spouse likes to go out to cool dinners. Find a cool restaurant. Google is amazing.
Google. Awesome.
I do this all the time. Unique restaurants in Portland. Boom. There's a zillion. I run a list on my phone a notes list that has places I want to go, coffee shops, hikes, restaurants. I keep them on here.
Yeah, and comment in the chat right now if you think Melissa should become a travel blogger, because I do.
I don't want my fun thing to become my job. It's just a thing. But anyways, plan quality time together. And I'm saying plan it because it doesn't happen naturally in this world.
No, it doesn't. Just like anything, right?
Busy all the time.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Ask about their needs. Regularly ask how to serve them and what they need from you and how you can relieve their stress. Sometimes Gabe will ask me like, you seem stressed out. What can I do? Great. Thank you. Like, do you want help with, I always make dinner. I love cooking. I make dinner. I don't really prefer other people in the kitchen when I'm in there. It's my space.
I'm laughing because I know
it's my canvas.
I know.
Anyways, but sometimes if I'm in a crunch or I'm busy or something, Gabe will be like, do you want some help? And I'm like, yeah, can you cut up this chicken? Can you warm up this? Can you cut up the veggies? And I appreciate the ask. Sometimes it's no. And sometimes it's like, yeah, get in here. Help me. If he doesn't ask, I'm like, hi, do you see me over here? Like cooking my head off? Like
I know. Cause I mean, so I could have asked you 9 times. And it's been no. And then like if I don't ask the 10th time and it's the time that you want help.
Like, yo, bro, come cut up these zucchinis for me. I don't have 4 hands. Yeah. Anyways, number 7, practice patience. Be patient with them and yourself. When you're in a relationship for the long haul, you need to flow through the seasons together. Some are hard, some are fun and easy, but you need to be patient and serve each other when times are harder. And maybe there's a struggle with your spouse and they're dealing with something bigger than you. Just be there and be patient. So practice patience. My dad was really good at this with my mom because, I was not patient with my mom. But, but anyways, and thank you for being patient with me because Gabe's very patient with me because I am an extreme extrovert. A 7 on the Enneagram. I want to be doing fun things 24/7.
I'm exhausted and broke.
Yeah, and Gabe is just whoa. But anyways, yeah. But I try not to fill up the calendar too much because I know that's not what feeds Gabe.
Well, and hey, you know what we have done a better job at, and I think this kind of goes with this, is I think we're communicating more about planning, because what feeds me is activity of a different kind. Yeah. It's like achievement activity or, you know what I mean? Like putting stuff out and that. And so I could fill my calendar up with that stuff. You could fill your calendar up with the fun stuff. Yeah. But if we don't communicate, then, we're missing. So I think that's a big piece to that.
Yeah. Number 8, engage in physical touch. Simple gestures like holding hands, hugging, a touch on the back can communicate love and affection without words. Apparently it lengthens your life. I've heard this. Google it. Lengthens your life. And I heard a 7-second hug is really important. I think it's 7 seconds. Yeah. Well, is good. And then you know what's funny? I watched this show. It's based in Indiana. I can't remember the name of it. It's like one of those HGTV shows. And the girl on there, she's really cool. Oh, it's called Bones. Bones. I think it's like Good Bones. That's what it is. Yes, yes. Okay, the girl on there, sometimes she'll have her kids and her husband on. And when they're saying bye to each other, no matter what, it's not just a kiss. It's not and they leave. 3 kisses. Really? Every single time. And there's something I think is really cute about that.
We're going to start doing that.
Okay, we can start doing that. Anyways, I think it's really cute because it's so intentional, right? Yeah. Anyways, engage in physical touch. Apparently, it's really good for you. And then lastly, flirt. Send that picture. Send that spicy text. It's cute. Flirt with each other. It's fun. That's how you get hot. It's fun to be pursued. Right? It's fun to be pursued. Like if you didn't pursue me or I didn't pursue you or, wouldn't you feel like, do you even like me? Like, do you even want to be married to me?
Totally. Like, because honestly, if life is literally all about getting up, going to work, coming home, making dinner, watching TV, going to sleep.
Yeah. Count me out.
There's got to be more to it than that. And there is, thankfully.
Yeah. Flirt. Yeah. It's fun. Yeah. Anyways.
Okay. I think there's something that needs to be said, and that is that not everybody right now finds themselves in a spicy situation in their marriage. Yeah. And it'd be easy to get discouraged and think, gosh, did I marry the wrong person? Or what's wrong with me? Or I just want to neutralize that real quick and say the person you're with is the person you're supposed to be with. And you're supposed to stay with, and you're supposed to build it with, and you're supposed to make the best of it with. And so you can do it.
And it's like you have a kid over here with a snotty nose and a kid over here doing some stupid science project and a kid over here, because we had 3 kids, and like, making silly putty or something. I mean, there's so much happening when you have a kid and you're tired and you're being touched all day, especially if you're nursing or potty training and stuff. I mean, it's exhausting. But it's like, now I look back at that time and it's such a treasure.
Yeah.
I love that time. I was like, I'd give my right arm to go back to that time. But when you're in it, I get it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh. But oh my gosh, looking back at raising kids was a ball. I loved raising the kids. It was so much fun. Yeah.
So if you
Go through the seasons.
if you feel like you're not in a hot season, but you want to get there, I think that the thing to remember is sometimes you got to go way back to go way forward.
Totally.
Sometimes you got to go, all right, so it's not the greatest right now.
Yeah.
Well, when was it great?
Yes.
When was it?
Yes. Go back there.
And go back there.
Yeah.
And like you did with the photo album, like the
make
marriage.
a list.
Yeah, make a list.
Make a list of what you love about your spouse.
Absolutely.
Retrain your brain.
That's right. You got to get back to that moment. And what I love is, I talked about Jeremiah 3, where there was this judgment coming from God to the nation of Israel. Well, if you fast forward to Revelation in the end of the Bible, chapter 2, God is talking now again to his people. And he's saying, you lost your first love.
Yeah.
And I mean...
Sidetracked,
right? Distance. That's what it is. Yep. And so he gives the solution. It's right here. He goes, go back and do the things you did at first.
Exactly.
And I think that right there says it all, because you know what you did to get that girl or to get that guy? You served.
Yep.
You know what you did to show them you loved them in the beginning? You served them.
Yeah. You pursued them with passion.
It was pursuit. It was others-mindedness. It was not selfishness. It was, they were to you the biggest person in the world, the greatest person. They filled up your mind. They filled up your heart.
And don't let it ever go away.
Yeah. And so if you're not there right now, it's okay. Rewind to the point where you were and just ask yourself the question, what would my former self have done here? How did that person show interest? What did that person feel about them? What kinds of things did that person say to them?
Yep.
Do for them? And I think if we will be that committed to it, I know one thing: your spouse will notice the effort and they will appreciate it. And that begins, again, breaking the crazy cycle, because once one person goes first, the other person responds in kind.
Yeah. It's
and
reciprocal.
Goes, okay, you're coming close, I'm gonna come closer.
Yep.
And I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got to be intentional though, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I love it. Well, if this is helpful to you, go ahead and like it, share it, subscribe. Come by Westside sometime and say hi to us. We would love that. We're out here in Beaverton, Oregon. So, thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot.